Before this day begins, before the world asks anything from you, pause for a moment. This is not simply another morning. This is a quiet point of transition, a space between who you were and what is now ready to unfold through you. You did not come across these words for no reason. There is a deeper intelligence behind what captures your attention, the timing of this moment, and the thoughts you are ready to receive. Right now, that attention is turning inward. So as you listen, release the need to force anything. You are not here to control everything, solve everything, or chase after something that feels far away. You are here to assume. You are here to enter a state where what you desire is no longer something distant, but something you can already accept as real within you. This morning is open. This moment matters. And before you continue, stay with this message, because the next few minutes may change the way you begin every morning from this day forward. Something powerful is already beginning to move. Every morning before the outside world begins making demands, you quietly enter a state of being. Most people do this without realizing it. They open their eyes and immediately carry yesterday into today. Old emotions return. Old worries return. Unfinished thoughts return. Familiar expectations return. But a new day does not truly begin with what happens outside of you. It begins with what you accept inside yourself. The first feeling you choose to remain with can become the pattern that shapes everything that follows. If you wake up expecting pressure, delay, disappointment, or struggle, you may begin seeing evidence that supports those expectations. But if you wake up expecting ease, support, progress, and good outcomes, you begin moving through the same world with a completely different inner position. The morning is more than a time on the clock. It is a doorway. And what you carry through that doorway can influence what you notice, how you respond, and what possibilities you allow yourself to see. An assumption is not the same as a wish. It is not simply hoping that something good might happen. An assumption is a quiet inner agreement. It is the decision that says, "This is how life is for me now." Once that decision becomes familiar, your mind starts looking at people, events, and opportunities through that new lens. This is why two people can experience the same day and walk away with completely different impressions. Their outer surroundings may be similar, but their inner states are not. One expects problems everywhere. The other expects solutions. One looks for rejection. The other remains open to connection. One believes everything will be difficult. The other believes there is a way forward. When you consciously choose your morning assumption, you stop allowing every circumstance to decide your emotional state for you. You begin choosing your direction before the day has a chance to choose it for you. And that simple shift can become more powerful than you realize. You do not need to strain to make an assumption work. You do not need to repeat words with fear or desperation. You do not need to spend the entire day trying to convince yourself. In fact, the calmer the assumption feels, the easier it becomes to live from it. Think about the difference between hoping something will work out and quietly knowing that it will. The first carries tension, the second carries peace. When you wake with the inner feeling that things can work out, you move differently. Conversations can feel lighter. Decisions can become clearer. You may notice opportunities that you would normally overlook. Even difficult moments can lose some of their emotional weight because you are no longer meeting them from panic. You are meeting them from steadiness. And here is something important. Stay with this idea, because this is where the real shift begins. Your goal is not to create a perfect day. Your goal is to choose the state from which you will experience the day. Your mind may still speak. It may remind you of unfinished work, financial concerns, old disappointments, or things that did not go as planned before. Let it speak without allowing it to lead. The purpose of your morning assumption is not to spend your first moments analyzing yesterday. It is to choose the present state you want to occupy today. The past can influence you, but it does not have to command you. What happened before does not automatically have to become the pattern for what happens next. The moment you accept a different inner position, you create space for a different response. You can say quietly, "That was then. Today, I move differently." You can breathe, you can relax. You can allow yourself to expect something better without needing every detail explained in advance. You do not have to know exactly how everything will happen. You only need to decide what kind of person you are choosing to be as the day unfolds. A strong morning assumption is not always about naming one specific event. It is often about choosing an identity. Instead of saying, I hope today goes well, you can gently accept, I am someone whose days can go well. Instead of thinking, I hope I receive good news, you can think, I am open to good news and favorable outcomes. Instead of waking with, I have to figure everything out, you can wake with, I can handle today one step at a time. These changes may sound small, but small changes in your inner language can change the way you experience everything around you. Your identity influences your expectations. Your expectations influence your attention. Your attention influences your choices, and your choices influence the direction of your day. So do not underestimate the first few thoughts you allow into your mind. They may seem ordinary, but they can become the emotional foundation beneath everything that follows. As you continue through the day, your chosen state may begin to confirm itself in simple ways. You may notice a conversation becoming easier than expected. You may find an answer to something that had been bothering you. You may receive an unexpected message, notice an opportunity, or simply experience a calm moment where you once would have felt tension. Do not become obsessed with searching for signs. You do not need to chase confirmation. Simply remain aware. Sometimes the first change is not an event outside you. Sometimes it is the way you react to an event that once controlled you. You remain calm. You pause before responding. You stop assuming the worst. You notice possibilities instead of only problems. That is movement too. The world may not change instantly, but your relationship with the world can change immediately. And when your inner position changes, your actions, decisions, and responses begin to change with it. Even when the outside picture looks exactly the same, remain loyal to the state you selected. This is where many people give up too quickly. They make a new decision in the morning, then check the outside world an hour later and say, nothing has changed. But the point is not to become anxious about results. The point is to become familiar with a new way of being. What is developing internally may not always be visible at first. A seed does not look like a tree when it is placed in the ground. You do not dig it up every few minutes to check whether it is growing. You give it room. In the same way, allow your new assumption to become natural. Let it settle into you. When doubt appears, you do not need to fight it dramatically. Simply return to your chosen state. Return to peace. Return to the thought that you are supported, capable, guided, and open to favorable possibilities. When you understand this, your mornings begin to feel different. They are no longer moments you rush through while immediately reacting to messages, problems, notifications, and responsibilities. They become moments of direction. You realize that before you enter the world, you can choose the inner atmosphere you want to carry into it. You can choose calm before pressure, confidence before uncertainty, gratitude before complaint, possibility before limitation. You are not pretending that problems do not exist. You are deciding that problems do not get the first word. You are giving your mind a new starting point. And perhaps this is the part you most need to remember today. You are not waking up simply to face the day. The day is meeting the version of you that you choose to bring into it. So choose wisely, choose gently, choose with confidence. Let this morning be different. Let your first assumption be simple. Today can work in my favor. I am ready for good things. I am open to unexpected solutions. I am moving forward. Then breathe, release the need to control every detail, and step into your day as though something good is already unfolding. Because sometimes the greatest change begins quietly, with one decision no one else can see. Because the assumption you accept in the morning does not simply influence your day, it begins to shape the day itself. Most people move through life believing they are trying to attract better circumstances, healthier relationships, greater opportunities, and more favorable results. They wait, they visualize, they hope. Then they wonder why things seem to take so long to change. But life does not respond simply to wanting, it responds to being. What you experience outside is not something you are constantly pulling toward yourself, it is something you are continually expressing from within. The outer world works like a mirror. It reflects the inner state you repeatedly occupy. This is why effort by itself cannot always create lasting change. You can work extremely hard, think positively for a few minutes, or repeat powerful words without truly feeling them, and still experience very little movement. The mirror does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you accept yourself to be. And when you understand that you are reflecting rather than simply attracting, responsibility returns to where it belongs, not as blame, as power. You no longer have to chase every outcome or convince the world to cooperate. You begin by changing the inner position from which you are living. Then the reflection can begin to change. If you repeatedly experience resistance, delays, disappointment, or uncertainty, it does not automatically mean that life is against you. It may simply mean that the inner state being expressed is still one of struggle, fear, or doubt. The world is not judging that state, it is faithfully reflecting it. Once you understand this, frustration can begin to fade because you realize that nothing is necessarily broken. The process is responding to the state you continue to hold. Reflection happens naturally. You do not need to stand in front of a mirror and command it to show something different. The mirror simply shows what is already there. In the same way, when you begin accepting yourself as supported, valued, capable, and favored, your experiences can start echoing that inner acceptance. People may respond differently, situations may feel less difficult, your timing may seem to improve, new choices may become easier to see. Not because the outside world suddenly changed its mind, but because your inner position changed first. And this is where the real power begins. Stay with this idea, because the next part can completely change the way you respond to difficult circumstances. This also explains why constantly trying to repair the outside can become so exhausting. You may try to control a conversation, force an outcome, change another person's reaction, or manipulate circumstances into giving you what you want. Yet, if the inner assumption remains exactly the same, the deeper pattern remains unchanged. You are trying to correct the reflection while leaving the source untouched. The mirror changes when the person standing before it changes position. You do not need to imagine every single detail of how your life should unfold. You need to connect with a new identity. Ask yourself quietly, who would I be if this were already resolved? What would you feel? Calm, relief, confidence, freedom, security? That feeling is the state you begin to live from. The goal is not to force an image into existence. The goal is to become familiar with the feeling of the result already being settled within you. Then your choices begin to change, your responses begin to change, your expectations begin to change. And eventually, the outer experience begins to reflect the inner shift. The mind may resist this because it seems too simple. It may ask, but what about action? Action still matters, but action flows from the state you occupy. When you reflect confidence, your actions naturally become more confident. When you reflect certainty, your decisions become clearer. When you feel supported, you are less likely to act from panic. When you expect possibility, you notice options you might have ignored before. Action becomes an expression of being instead of a desperate attempt to replace it. There is tremendous freedom in understanding this. You stop blaming every circumstance. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to feel secure. You stop measuring your progress only by what is visible right now. Instead, you return to the inner state. You understand that a sustained inner shift can create an outer echo. As this awareness grows, you become more careful about the moods, assumptions, and inner conversations you repeatedly entertain. You notice them without fear. You simply choose again. And that choice can become the beginning of something entirely different. You are not here to attract a better life someday, in some distant future. You are here to begin living from the state of fulfillment now, and allow your experiences to reflect that state in their own time. One of the quietest traps of the mind is the belief that you must see evidence before you are allowed to feel certain. You are often taught, without even realizing it, to wait for signs, results, approval, or confirmation before you relax into confidence. But the order is different. Decision first, evidence later. Remember that, because it is one of the most important ideas in this entire message. A decision is not always a loud statement. It can be a quiet, inner conclusion. It is the moment you stop asking whether something will happen and begin accepting that within you it is already settled. From that moment, your inner conversations begin to change. Your reactions shift, your expectations shift, your behavior starts to shift, and without forcing anything, you begin moving through life like someone who already knows where they are going. Waiting for proof keeps you attached to uncertainty. It tells your mind that the desired state has not yet been fully accepted. And when you continually return to that uncertainty, you remain focused on what is missing. This is not punishment. It is simply a reflection of what you continue to assume. When you decide first, something important happens. The nervous need to check, worry, monitor, and control begins to weaken. You stop constantly searching your surroundings for reassurance. You stop asking every moment, is it happening yet? Instead, you carry a quiet sense of knowing that does not need constant reinforcement. The mind may resist this at first. It may say, be realistic or wait until you know for sure. But certainty is not always created by visible facts. A new direction often begins before the evidence exists. What you see today is largely connected to what has already been established. If you want a different experience, you must become willing to move beyond what is currently visible and accept a different inner conclusion. This is why making a firm inner decision can feel uncomfortable at first. You are stepping away from the old pattern and into a new one. For a while, appearances may seem to disagree with what you have chosen, but you do not have to fight appearances. You simply do not allow them to decide your inner state. As the decision becomes more natural, the tension begins to fade. You relax. You become less desperate. You stop needing immediate confirmation. Then life has room to unfold through ordinary events, conversations, choices, opportunities, and unexpected connections. You may notice things beginning to line up in ways you could never have planned. A conversation happens at the right time. An opportunity appears. A solution becomes visible. A person reaches out. A door opens where you once saw only a wall. Then, almost casually, the evidence arrives, not necessarily as something dramatic, but as a natural result of the state you have been living from. If you find yourself constantly searching for signs, gently return to the decision. Signs are echoes, they are not the cause. The deeper cause is the inner agreement you have made. A true decision does not spend all day arguing with doubt. It becomes stronger than the doubt. Doubt may still pass through your mind, and that is okay. You do not have to fight every uncertain thought. You simply stop allowing those thoughts to define your identity. You stand in something deeper. You return to the state you selected. Living this way changes your relationship with time. What once felt painfully delayed may begin to feel lighter. You no longer live in constant suspense, waiting for something outside yourself to give you permission to relax. You trust the unfolding because you have already accepted the direction inwardly. This trust is not laziness, it is alignment. It does not mean you stop taking practical steps. It means your steps are no longer controlled by panic. When you understand that decision comes before proof, you stop postponing peace. You stop bargaining with life. You settle within yourself, and as you settle, your actions become clearer and your experiences can begin reflecting that inner settlement. Decide first. Let the outer world catch up. Once the decision is truly accepted within you, the outcome is no longer something you constantly question. It becomes something you allow to appear. Most people think of gratitude as a reaction, something they express after receiving good news, reaching a goal, getting money, finding the right opportunity, or experiencing a happy event. But deeper gratitude is more than a response to what has already happened. It can become a state of being. It is the inner feeling that nothing essential is missing. It is the quiet sense that what you have desired has already been accepted within you. The matter feels settled, the heart feels lighter. You are not desperately waiting for fulfillment because inwardly you are already occupying the feeling of fulfillment. And because your inner state influences the way you see, respond to, and move through life, this feeling of completion can become the foundation for visible change. When you feel gratitude before the evidence appears, you are not pretending that circumstances are different. You are choosing to experience yourself from the position of having rather than lacking. You are standing closer to the end instead of remaining trapped in the waiting. And if you stay with this feeling calmly, without forcing it, you may discover that the most important transformation was never about chasing something outside you. It was about becoming familiar with the state in which you no longer feel that you are missing it.